What is up, YouTube? What is up, Giants fans? It is your boy Jay Downs, accompanied by my man, it's Clouts. And we're back at it with another live, and we will hit y'all with the recap of today's training camp. But before we get to that, how you feeling, my boy?
Feeling great, man. Great day at camp. I think that the Giants went off on a different route, showed a lot of that run game today, so I'm super excited to talk about it with you.
Yeah, man. We're gonna start off. Let's start off with Daniel Jones. So, we've seen the tweets, we've seen all the reports, stuff like that. How he didn't look, as good as we would hope today. And me personally, I don't think that is something that we should all, run to the press or freak out about, because he had good practices, he's had bad practices, but I really want to know, what did you see? Because you were there today, you were in attendance today. So what did you see from your POV with Daniel Jones?
I mean, I seen a lot of. It was a running practice. We knew that going into it. Brian Dabo said, we're going to be emphasizing on the run game today. I think that the few throws that DJ had, they were a little off. I'm a big DJ guy, but I'll admit it, the throws are a little off today. He definitely seemed the most uncomfortable that he has the entire camp. I'm not really reading much into it. It's the first day with full pads on, and for just to put this out there, Wink Martindale was sending the crib like every play. I mean, there was just a new DB flying off the corner every single play, and obviously he's gonna have to face that in the season, and that's not an excuse. But the Giants aren't preparing for Wink Martindale in preseason. Daniel Jones isn't preparing for his own defensive coordinator. So when you get that stuff thrown at you like that, and you got to make quick reads in practice and get it out to whoever Coach Dabo says, because not every time does Coach Dabo say, DJ, go out there and just throw it. Like sometimes he might say, throw it to Kadarius no matter what. I want to see how this DB guards Kadarius. Like some people don't understand that sometimes the defense, you want to see the offense to do bad to see how the defense performs. So I think it's very situational. Do I think he had a bad day? Yes. Do I think it's the end of the world? No.
Yeah, and I was like arguing with some people on Twitter, like, if DJ has a bad practice, we don't need that. We already know the haters are going to go and blow it up. They're going to go and say we need to bring in Tyrod Taylor. They're going to go in and say that we got to go make the trade for Jimmy G. But you see the guys who support DJ, who when DJ plays good, they're going to root him on for it, or when they see him play bad, they're going to critique him for it. You don't see them saying he's going to be a freaking MVP when he has good practice. So again, like you said, I don't think anything we should be, freaking out about. It's a bad practice. First day back in pads. Wink Martindale sent the heat, and it's really nothing that I think can it's gonna derail the season or anything like that. Get back at it tomorrow, see how the practice goes. But let's get into Saquon. Let's get to Saquon Barkley, man. We already seen the tweets, we seen the reports that my man's looking explosive. You know what I'm saying? He was hitting that hole between the tackles. But how did you think Saquon Barkley today? What were your takeaways?
Saquon, I'll say this right now, it's the best I've seen Saquon look in 2 years. He looked explosive. He looked confident. He looked like he wanted to take that step. He looked like he wanted to be his old self. I mean, we all remember good old Saquon. Me and Jay were talking about this before the stream. Like, there was a point in time where every time Saquon got the ball, it was like, oh no, what's Saquon going to do now? And I do think that there's a chance he gets back to that. What I seen from Saquon today was, the good old Saquon. He hits the hole hard. He's explosive. He's fast. He trusts his body. He's confident. There are a few toss plays where he got the ball, and it's training camp. They're not bringing him to the ground, but Leo would blow it up and he would just run through it. It's hard to simulate running in practice because you're expecting it. I mean, it's not like it's a guessing game and a real game where like, oh no, are they going to run? I'm sure Wink Martindale was stacking the box knowing that there were some runs coming. But Saquon looked very good today. And obviously it's because it's a more run emphasized practice. So obviously if you see more Saquon, he's going to look better. But truly he did look very fast and explosive. And I'm excited to see what he's going to do this year. If he stays healthy, I mean, this is the best offensive line he's played behind, maybe even before Penn State. So I'm so excited to see this kid this year. He's going to ball out.
Yeah, and then I was watching one of the clips that the Giants Twitter page had put up with Saquon Barkley running the ball. Did you see Evan Neal? He was pushing Jahawa right out their way, and Saquon Barkley cut the ball back upfield, and he scored a little touchdown. That automatically, gets me excited for Saquon. Him, back off that second season, off of the injury after that bad 2021 season. The offensive line, you're looking at, Mark Lewinsky, who was more of a run or better run blocker than a pass blocker back in Indianapolis. Evan Neal is a might of upgrade over Nate Solder. Like, it's no question. Then you got Shane Lemieux, who was filled in that center over the past couple of practices with John Feliciano out. He's more of a run blocker type of guy than a pass type blocking guy too. I feel like Saquon Barkley, he's healthy. I feel like the mental part of his game is back where it's supposed to be. That automatically gets me excited for him. I know he wants to go out there and prove that he is, that 2018 guy. When they ask him all the questions in the post-game interview or the post-practice interviews, he goes out and says that I want to show the Giants that the team, that the player that they drafted is still there. So I just love to hear that he's looking explosive out there. But let's hop into the receivers. Let's hop into Wan'Dale Robinson. Let's hop into Kadarius Toney. I'm going to start. Kadarius Toney might just be our best wide receiver. Like, when I'm looking at who can make the biggest impact this season, I like Kenny Gallaudet. He is the $72 million man. But Kadarius Toney, we all saw the snag that he had. I think it was Friday's practice. That right there is, we didn't even know he could do that. We don't know Kadarius Toney as a 50-50 guy. We know him as a receiving guy. Like, after he gets the ball, then he makes a play. If he can go out there and make the 50-50 catch, add that on to his repertoire, that's going to be huge. Wan'Dale Robinson, to me, I know a lot of people are kind of questioning the pick when we made it, back in the draft. But when I heard that, Joe Shane and Brian Dabo said they had a plan for him right after they picked him, I was on board with the pick. But what's your thoughts on Kadarius Toney and Wan'Dale Robinson?
I think Kadarius is one of those players where if he stays healthy, he'll put up 1,000 yards. It's not a doubt in my head. Kenny Gallaudet, I think he's came out like a little stale this offseason. I don't think we've really seen anything crazy from him. That doesn't mean he's having a bad camp. He just hasn't flashed. Wan'Dale Robinson, I'm really excited about. I mean, just him in the backfield. I mean, the motions or stuff, like the motions and the formations they're doing with Wan'Dale is some of the stuff I've never seen before. Darius and Wan'Dale are like, they're brothers. They're going to be very good together. They're going to be a very good duo. They lift each other up. I mean, even just like going back to the huddle, like Wan'Dale will go up to Kadarius, vice versa. They do have similar play styles, so that does obviously help. But yeah, I expect a big year for Kadarius. The guy's got to stay healthy. That's the bottom line. Wan'Dale was out there taking some punt returns today, which I don't mind. I rather it over like a defensive player. I seen Dory Jackson out there taking punt returns. I was like, no, get Wan'Dale back out there. But yeah, I think Wan'Dale's gonna have a really good year. I think Wan'Dale's gonna put up more yards than Kenny Gallaudet this year, actually.
Yeah, with Kenny Gallaudet, it's like he already doesn't really fit the scheme when we're talking about Mike Kafka and Brian Dable. But I still do think he will have an impact as, like, when we're in the red zone, let's throw a ball up to KG. And with Daniel Jones, that's one facet of the game that I think he has to work on, getting that 50-50 ball up to KG. First of all, they're both tall. Daniel Jones is 6'5". Kenny Gallaudet is like 6'4". There should be no reason why we can't just throw the ball up in the red zone to KG. He doesn't have to be the 100-yard game guy, but if he can be a touchdown machine for us and let Wan'Dale Robinson and KT work in the receiving game more, I feel like we have like a little three-headed monster going on. And Darius Slayton. Let's talk a little bit about Darius Slayton. What's your thoughts on Darius Slayton? Do you think he'll make the roster? Do you think he's gonna get cut, be the surprise cut before the season starts? What's your thoughts on my man Darius Slayton?
I got a funny story about Darius Slayton. He was out there taking punt returns with the rest of them. I was like, watch Darius Slayton drop this. And what do you know? The punt comes and he catches it, but he falls. And I was just like, oh my God, he's a clown. I mean, you don't believe the hype till you actually see it in person. When I seen him actually drop it right there, I was like, oh my God. I think Darius Slayton came into the league. He came in with DJ. Him, no matter if we like it or not, him and DJ have a really good connection. They came in as rookies, and they did pretty good this rookie year. I mean, he had a good season, but after that, it's just been a straight decline with the drop problem. I'm always a big believer in, you could fix drops. I mean, you could hit the jugs machine after practice. It's fixable, but it just does not seem to be clicking with Darius Slayton. Do I think he'll make the roster? Yes. Do I want him to make a roster? No. I like Colin Johnson or Richie James in that situation a little more of a playmaker. I don't really think there's much upside with Darius Slayton. I mean, he's kind of just that straight line runner, I think we overrate his speed sometimes. I don't really think he's a very good player. He's had trouble with yak. I mean, think about the last time you've seen Kadarius Toney catch the ball and make a move. Like, I haven't seen that. I don't think I've ever seen that. He's just not versatile. And going back to KG, I was gonna stop you before, but
Yeah, go ahead.
you said KG, he doesn't really fit the scheme. I think he's starting to like that type of play style and that type of body type is starting to like phase out a little bit. I think it's more starting to be more of a Tyreek Hill, Kadarius Toney, Wanda Robinson, not to just say our players, but more of that. If you want to go in the backfield and catch a little swing pass and take it up the field, go ahead. Kenny Gallaudet doesn't have that, and those big body receivers don't have that. So I think that it's more of a just NFL thing than just the Giants. I think that Dabo's going to find a way to implement them. I mean, you're paying him $17 million a year. You got to give the guy the ball. Yeah. He's got to make plays. He's got $17 million a year. He's got to be lining up number one versus the number one corner, and you got to get Kenny Gallaudet the ball. You got to give him the chance to make plays, because at the end of the day, if you don't give him the chances to make plays, we can't sit here and critique him.
Yeah, I feel like with Kenny Gallaudet, it's rather he's going to have a bounce back season, or he's just not going to look like his Detroit self ever again. But my boy Goatney, what's up, Goatney? What up? He said one thing I noticed at camp today, although the line struggled as a unit today, Joshua Zudu had an awesome day. Really excited to see him develop. I seen that one of his 1v1 reps, he looked really good. And with Shane Lemieux sliding over at center, if he can fill in that left guard for us with Feliciano out, he might be able to start for us. If Shane Lemieux, who I heard has been looking good at center, if Zudu can slide in that left guard and, play at least a little decent, I feel like that should be a good offensive line heading into the season. It's not nothing to write home about, but, for the Giants offensive line standpoint, that's a pretty decent offensive line for, the offensive line we've seen over the past couple of years. But when you're looking at the offensive line, we're going to switch over to the offensive line, back to the offensive line. What do you think is going to be, the strong point and the weak point of the offensive line as of right now?
I think it's going to be the tackles, Andrew Thomas and Evan Neal, who are both generational prospects. You don't get those type of players a lot. I don't think the interior is too weak. The depth is starting to worry me a little bit. When the second team O-line is out there, they're getting pushed back. I mean, it's pretty obvious the difference. Yeah. So I think the depth is still a little weak, but you cannot fix depth in a year with the salary cap that was given. But I think Mark Lewinsky and the guys up front, maybe Nick Gates makes a miraculous comeback and gets out there for a few games this year. But I think it's good enough to evaluate our roster, evaluate Daniel Jones, evaluate Saquon Barkley and all the weapons on offense. But I don't think like that's it. Like, the offensive line is rebuilt, but I think the tackles are pretty secure. And I think that the tackle depth is pretty solid too, because there's a lot of interior players that we have that are very versatile and can hop out to the outside if, God, knock on wood, Evan or Andrew goes down with an injury. Like you were saying, Josh Azudu, he got some tackle reps this camp. So I'm excited to see where he goes all over the field, but definitely the tackle position is the strong point, in my opinion, of the offensive line.
Yeah, Evan Neal, when we look at his 1v1 rep against O'Shane Zimenez, he got beat. He did indeed get beat. He kind of overcommitted, overstepped, and Zimenez was able to beat him over the across the edge. But I feel like Neal will be fine. I can trust Evan Neal to go out there and fix whatever problems he has. And it's early. These guys are still rookies. I would love for Evan Neal and Kayvon Thibodeau to hop on into the NFL and become all pro players day one. But today really showed me that these guys are still rookies. We still got to take our time with them. They're going to have the ups and downs. But let's transition to the defense. So we looked at the defense today. I did see the tweets. I did see the reports that they had a day. Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence, them boys were out there putting in that work. But what did you see? What was your little takeaways from the defense side of the ball today for day 5?
I think Aaron Robinson had a great day. I think the defense as a whole had like a tremendous day, like a really good day. But that O-line, that D-line, was really standing out. I mean, Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams were just eating. Saquon had a good day, but they were eating Saquon up. I mean, Leo just brings this presence, which I haven't seen him at camp because obviously last year was closed. I didn't go the year before, but you could feel Leo's presence, and he just, he gets hyped. Even like he got to the QB like twice, and now this point in training camp when the pads are on it, if they feel like it's going to be a sack in a real game situation, they'll blow the whistle. So I mean, he probably, I would say, had like 1 to 1.5 sack, but he had a great day, and him and Dexter Lawrence I think are going to be really good, and him and Dexter Lawrence taking that inside and plunging that up is going to be so helpful for Kayvon and Azeez Ojulari off the outsides, because if you have those two screaming up the middle and then you have Azeez and Kayvon just right there, I mean, it's murder she wrote. I mean, it's just good night to the opposing quarterback. But yeah, they had a great day. Obviously, I'm a little worried about the secondary. I mean, Dane Belton going down. I mean, I hope he recovers. I think collarbone injuries are difficult because you look at Daniel Jones. He came back 3 weeks after breaking his collarbone in college. So I mean, he could be back. He could be back last preseason game. He could be back week 4. I don't think he's like a horrible loss, but I think he's someone we want to have out there, and we want to have out there in certain situations. But I think that he's not a loss that's going to determine a win or a loss in a game situation. All it means is Cordell Flott's going to have to step up. I mean, some of the younger guys are going to have to step up. I know we signed that veteran from the 49ers today. I forgot his name off the top of my head, but
you're talking about Gerard Wilson.
Gerard Wilson, yes. I mean, we signed 2 solid veteran, DBs this week. So I think that's going to help, because if you look at the DB room, it's very young. You got Rodarius Williams, you got Aaron Robinson, you got Cordell Flott, you got Darnay Holmes. Julian Love's a little older, but we definitely needed a veteran presence in here. And I mean, it's either going to be one of those years where it's going to be like we're drafting a corner, or it's going to be one of those years where they really come together, they form a bond, and they ball out. I think it's going to have a lot to do with the investments we made in the D-line this season and the pass rushes this previous offseason. And it's going to depend a lot on those guys, because if those guys are screaming, it makes the cornerback's job so much easier. So much easier.
And we already know, the key to this defense, we're not even talking about the personnel that we got, it's Wink Martindale. Wink Martindale over there in Baltimore had one of the best defenses consistently. Last year was kind of like an outlier year with Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey dealing with injuries, but Wink Martindale's already showed that he's going to be aggressive with the guys that he got. He does not care that he doesn't have the best corners. He doesn't care if he has young corners. He showed today that he's going to be screaming. He's going to be sending heat. And Darnay Holmes has been playing out of his mind during camp. Yeah. He's been having an awesome camp. And if he can, fill in that slot role, I know a lot of my boys that I know love Cordell Flott. They love Cordell Flott in the slot. But with Darnay Holmes playing the way he's playing, it's going to be hard to, take Cordell Flott and put him over him. But like you were saying with Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence, they were eating. And I was watching one of the 1v1 reps with Leonard Williams versus Mark Lewinsky. He's sitting him on a bull rush, and he just looked it powerful. And one thing that excites me about the defensive line, which I think is a strong point of the defense, is he's going to have a lot of 1v1 reps. You got Azeez Ojulari on one side. You got Kayvon Thibodeaux on one side. Dexter Lawrence in the middle. Leonard Williams is going to have more 1v1 reps this season. So if he can, consistently win those 1v1 reps that he's given, he's going to have another great season. Dexter Lawrence is always a guy that, he's just a guy that you love to have on the defensive line. He eats up a lot of space. When you're looking at him from a run stopping standpoint, I feel like he's going to be one of the best run stopping nickel tackles or defensive linemen after this season. And with Kayvon Thibodeaux, who we saw go up against Andrew Thomas today, Andrew Thomas put in that work and he had him on lockdown, but as soon as he went to the other side, went against Matt Gano, the swing tackle on offense, he looked explosive, which has been one thing that a lot of people have been saying out of camp, that his first step is looking very great. Azeez Ojulari is dealing with the injury. So, we got to see how he looks when he gets back off an injury. But Adoree Jackson, he has to step up as a CB1. But overall, the defense, I'm proud of the defense. So, a lot of people said the defense is gonna be one of the worst defenses in the NFL. That still could happen because it's still training camp. But right now they're playing pretty decent ball. But Brian Dabo, let's talk a little bit about Brian Dabo. From what you've seen or been hearing out of camp, what's one thing that you've liked from Brian Dabo early on in camp?
I think it's just leadership and understanding of the players and understanding that, I don't know if you've seen on Twitter, there was a little brawl today. It wasn't anything crazy. It was just, it was a little training camp scuffle. I mean, the guys first day in pads, like they want to hit. So I think he's a great leader. I mean, it's hard to say about a coach. It's not like he's out there running routes, but from what we see, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes and there's just so much we don't see. But from what I see on the field and what he says and what he preaches and what the players say about him, he sounds like a guy that the players want to go out there and bust their ass for and work for and win games for. You don't want to win games for Joe Judge. The guy. Why would you put your body on the line for Joe Judge? Brian Dabo is a player's coach. He wants the players to feel like people and not so much as assets. And I think he's doing a pretty good job as it. You could even see just Kadarius Toney. He just looks happy. Kenny Gallaudet looks happy. Saquon Barkley's lighting up like he's glowing out there, man. He just looks like Saquon Barkley. Last offseason, he looked absolutely miserable. So I don't want to say we've turned a corner with the staff, but it looks like we are going in a positive direction on their personalities. I don't know how they are, with everything else, but their coaching techniques and all that. But personalities, I think we found a leader of men and a leader that's gonna take the New York Football Giants back. And I think you need a special personality for that to be the head coach of a football team in New York City. I hope we got our guy, Jay. That's
one thing that I liked over the weekend that I think was a Saturday practice is that they had Kadarius Toney's music playing during their little stretching warm-up
exactly.
thing. That right there just it struck out to me because I'm a Young Joker fan. I love his music, what I'm saying? I think he'd be dropping some fire tracks, and just the little small things like that, shows me that the personnel actually cares about the players. And McKinney had came out, I think it was like a week ago, talking about how the old regime was compared to the new regime already, how they treat you like people and not like freaking, like I said, assets. But with Brian Dabo, I liked how when the offense scored touchdowns or when the offense made a good play, he was celebrating with the offense. But when the defense made a play, he scrambled over there and he celebrated with the defense. And with Joe Judge last year, I just didn't really see him doing that. It was like he was just dictating and just watching these guys go at it, not really celebrating with the guys, because imagine you make an interception or you make a touchdown and you see your teammates, celebrating with you, but then you see your freaking coach running over there, trying to celebrate with you. So with Brian Dabo early on, I'm liking what I'm seeing. We still got to wait till the season, because when you get into the games, it's a whole different story. But early in camp, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Brian Dabo. But let's switch it on back to the offense and let's get more into the season. We really covered over the main stuff with training camp day 5. What is one bold prediction you got for the offense? And we're going to also do it for the defense. But let's start off with the offense. What is your bold prediction for this season for the offensive playmakers or the offensive players?
It's more of an offensive a whole situation, but I think we see an improvement like the first 5 drives of the game. Like I think that Jason Garrett's scheme was that bad. I mean, maybe not first 5 drives of the Titans game, but like the first like 3 quarters. I think it's like that big of a difference from going from a Jason Garrett scheme to a Brian Dabo / Mike Kafka scheme. I think it's gonna be a huge improvement. And even if we don't, have a crazy offensive year, I don't think it's gonna be as bad as last year. I don't think it's gonna be as bad as the year before. I mean, the worst comes to worst, Daniel Jones throws 25 touchdowns. That's like the worst comes to worst.
If we go into the 2022 season and we're walking out and our offense was worse than it was last year, that's a problem. Like that is a problem if we walk out of 2022 offensively wise and our
John Mara has to sell the franchise.
Yeah, like sell the franchise, fire whoever you got to fire, because that would be insane. But one bold prediction that I think I've said on this channel is Saquon Barkley. Let's get to Saquon. I feel like Saquon Barkley reaches back to that 2018 season. I feel like, well, not, 2018 Barkley. I really do. And when you're looking at him, with the offensive line, the mental, aspect of the game is back. I feel like with Saquon, I feel like he's going to have, a 2018 kind of like year. And, I feel like a lot of people that aren't Giants fans or, in the media, they sleeping on Saquon. They think Saquon is just some injured, riddled, washed up running back. That is not the case. That is not the case. It's so many things that's gone into, how Saquon Barkley's looked in 2018 to how he's looked now. We're talking about offensive line play. Has looked horrible. You're looking at the weapons around him. They don't have to worry about freaking, an Odell Beckham Jr. When we've seen Saquon at his best, OBJ was on the team. He was a guy that you also had to look at. And when you're looking at Kadarius Toney, Wan'Dale Robinson on the team, if defenses rather have to game plan for those two guys too, because if they can go out there and make, plays consistently, that opens up the game for Saquon. The passing game opens up the running game. And if, Kadarius Toney and Wan'Dale Robinson, those boys, make sure that defenses have the game plan for them, Saquon Barkley is going to eat. He is going to eat. But let's go over to defense. What is your little bold prediction for the defense side of the ball for 2022? You might. I think you might. Yeah.
Leonard Williams, 12 sacks.
Leonard Williams, 12 sacks.
I think Leonard Williams has a career year this year.
So wait. So you think he leads the team in sacks?
Yeah. I think he has more. I think he has more sacks than Kayvon. I think him and Aziz are going to lead the team in sacks. I think I have a really good feeling about Leo this year. I think he's feeling this system. He's feeling this aggressive system. And like we were just talking about before, Jay, I'm going to say this till September 11th, till kickoff of that Titans game. Kayvon and Aziz create more sacks for the inside guys. There's no other way to put it, and it's vice versa. Kayvon and Leonard and Dexter create sacks for them. The D line works together. Football is all trenches, just like you know better than everyone. So it's Leonard Williams has a fantastic year. Fantastic.
And before I get into my bold prediction for the defense, I just want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
everybody
sir.
who's talking in the chat. I really do appreciate it. This is the first live. You could literally be out there doing something else. You could be watching somebody else's stream. I just want to say thank you. I'm grateful for you guys who actually did tune in today. But for the defense, I'm going to go with Xavier McKinney. And I was on the Hubs live stream one day, and I was saying how I think Xavier McKinney leads the league in interceptions from the safety standpoint. I think Xavier McKinney, he's already gotten like the captain of the defense. He's already had Blake Martinez, usually like our leader guy on the defense when you're talking about the calls or something like that. That's Xavier McKinney as of right now. So I think Xavier McKinney is going to have a awesome season. I really do. And I understand that, with our cornerback positions, I feel like that's going to make people try to test the defense more. I really do. And I think that that's going to leave opportunities for, Xavier McKinney to make plays. I date back to the Raiders game. Derek Carr was trying to feed whoever, I think it was Hunter Renfrow, who was guarded by James Bradbury. And Xavier McKinney saved Bradbury a lot of times in that game. And I feel like that's going to kind of
he got a pick six on Carr.
You said what?
He got a pick six on Carr.
Yeah, he got a pick six on him. And I feel like that just opens up more opportunities for Xavier McKinney and the defense. But you said Leonard Williams will lead the defense in sacks.
Yeah. What did he? How many sacks did he have in his contract here?
He had 11.5. I remember he had 11.5 in the.
He'll run it back.
Damn. Hey, if we can get that, dude, I would love it. I'm down for it. If we can get Leonard Williams to give us 12.5 sacks, and Kayvon Thibodeau give us, 8 to 9, Azeez Ojulari. You think Azeez Ojulari is going to also have 12?
I don't know about 12, but I think I have a good feeling. I hate that Azeez got hurt. I don't know how serious it is, but I hate that Azeez got hurt. I was so high on Azeez before the injury. So high on Azeez. But, yeah, maybe 10 sacks. I think he definitely gets more than Kayvon, but what I want to see from Azeez this year is more of an impact sack role instead of kind of like last year where he kind of got the sacks, but they weren't at the greatest moments. They were kind of
Yeah.
like, on like first down and stuff. I want to see him get home third down, fourth down. That's what I want to see from Aziz. That will really secure the next step for Aziz. But Jay, I got a question for you.
What's up?
Hot take, anything, just spit it out. Are we winning week 1? Mic drop.
Okay. In my record prediction video from Game by Game, I did have us losing this game. But as we get closer and closer to the season.
No A.J. Brown, banged up Derrick Henry.
Yes, we're looking at no A.J. Brown. It's going to be Derrick Henry, first game off of the injury. Ryan Tannehill is trash. He's not good. I am going to predict, I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to have the Giants beating the Tennessee Titans week 1. I feel like Brian Dabo makes a statement out the gate. I feel like, the defense is actually able to maintain Derrick Henry, who Wink Martindale has a lot of, experience with Derrick Henry over there in Baltimore. I'll say it right now, and maybe I'll get, I'll regret this when the day comes. But as we get close to the season, I just get more confident, you know what I'm saying? And I think that the Tennessee Titans is a game that's winnable. I know a lot of people are probably saying that I'm crazy for thinking this, but I don't think the Tennessee Titans is a freaking, dominant team like they were a couple of years ago when, they had A.J. Brown and they had Corey Davis and the two tight ends, Jonnu Smith and all those boys. The offensive line for them has also regressed. Taylor Lewan, do you know if Taylor Lewan is still on their team, rather or not?
Yeah.
But he didn't have a great season last year. Roger Saffold is gone, I think they have some other right tackle. I don't know. Their offensive line isn't the best anymore, so it wouldn't surprise me if, the Giants went out there and knocked them off week 1. And one other thing is people are expecting, these big seasons from certain players. Some people think that Xavier McKinnon's going to break out and be, one of the best seasons in the game. People think that Azeez Ojulari is going to have a breakout season after his rookie season. Some people have Kayvon Thibodeau winning Defensive Rookie of the Year. You can't have these type of predictions or expectations and expect the Giants defense to not be good. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you expecting Daniel Jones to break out, Saquon Barkley's going to break out, Kadarius Toney's going to have a great season, Wanda Robinson's going to have a great season. That means the offense is going to be somewhat pretty decent, and we have Evan Neal and stuff like that. So, yes, I would say it's a hot take, but I feel like the Giants will knock off the Tennessee Titans week 1.
Yeah, the last time that Wink Martindale played Derrick Henry, they held him to 40 yards on. Hold on, they held him to 40 yards on 18 carries, averaging 2.2 yards a carry. So,
hey, if you can hold, Derrick Henry to that type of production in the week 1 game, and let Ryan Tannehill beat you, you have a good chance to win the game.
See, this is the thing.
And that's one thing about this season is, yes, the Giants don't have the most talented corners. They have Adoree Jackson at CB1, but they don't face, the best quarterbacks this year. They have Lamar Jackson, they have Aaron Rodgers, they have Dak Prescott 2 times this year. But outside of that, they don't really have, Patrick Mahomes like they had last year, Justin Herbert.
No,
they don't really have that this year. So, yes, the defense, secondary-wise, isn't the best, but we also don't face the most awesomest quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, so, I'm gonna put it like this. All right, so I'm just gonna run down the quarterbacks you're facing: Ryan Tannehill, Sam Darnold, or Baker Mayfield, Dak Prescott, Justin Fields, Aaron Rodgers, Lamar, Trevor Lawrence, Drew Lock, David Mills. There we go.
Yeah.
Jared Goff, Dak, Carson Wentz, Hurts, Carson Wentz, Kirk Cousins, Matt Ryan, Jalen Hurts.
And like how many? Oh, go ahead.
I mean, we're literally on a 4-game stretch reversing Trevor Lawrence, Drew Lock, Davis Mills, Jared Goff.
That's the most important part of the season. Like
most
that
important
4-game stretch.
I know you've been preaching that.
Like that 4-game stretch where we have like the Lions, Seahawks, Texans,
Jaguars. You gotta win
them
all.
Those are must-win games.
Yeah.
Like if we, I think we face the Texans off the bye. I'm not sure, But if we come out and we are just like looking like not good off the bye versus the Texans, then I don't, see us doing anything. But that 4-game stretch is so important. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's also a good reset game. I mean, like this is the dream scenario. You beat the Jaguars, you beat the Seahawks, you get your bye, you come out and win again against the Texans. Now you're on a 3-game win streak, and then you grab the Lions. Now you're on a 4-game win streak.
Yes, so like it's gonna be one game that they're gonna lose. I feel like I don't see them going 4-0. I probably did in my record prediction, but that's probably blasphemous. But they're gonna lose one game. I don't see them swiping all of them. It's gonna be a game that Jared Goff probably throws a Hail Mary up and someone just brings it down, something like that. But that 4-game stretch right there is very important. And I feel like the Giants this year, division-wise, I feel like they're going to split the division. I feel like they're going to win 3 games. They're going to lose 3 games. I understand that the Eagles, to a lot of people are freaking, playoff locks to some guys. But Jalen Hurts just doesn't fear me. He don't fear me. I'm not scared of Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts doesn't strike fear to me. If they had, made a trade for Deshaun Watson, who got suspended for 6 games, or they made a trade for Matt Ryan, something like that, then I would understand, because the Eagles roster outside of Jalen Hurts, which we was talking about, I think, last night in the chat, they're good. If they actually had a quarterback, they would be good. But, Carson Wentz, he just he doesn't scare me with the Washington team. And, Daniel Jones basically owns the Commanders. So, I really don't fear them. Dallas, though they are still, they still have, they're still a better talented team. They lost guys in the offseason. They lost Amari Cooper to the Browns. They had to trade him. Lost Randy Gregory. So, their team actually got worse and it got better. So division-wise, the Giants, I feel like they fell pretty well. How do you feel about the Giants in division, though?
The only team that scares me a little bit is the Eagles, like you were saying, and then I remember who their quarterback is in Jalen Hurts, and it calms me down a little bit.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott, I've never seen him as a threat. I think he's a quarterback that take you to that. I do think he's a quarterback that can take you to the playoffs. Do I think he's unbeatable? Do I think he's Aaron Rodgers? Absolutely not. I'm not saying we're going to sweep the division. Obviously not. But I do see us splitting with most, like I would say every team. I think that I don't fear any of these teams as much as people are making it out to be. I mean, when you really break these rosters down, the Eagles roster is really good. I mean, that's what it is. You look at the Commanders, they got Carson Wentz back there. You got Terry McLaurin, then you got Jahan Dotson, and then you look at the defense and you're like, all right, we're good. You know what I mean? Chase Young's coming off the injury. I mean, maybe we don't split with all of them. Maybe we lose to, the Cowboys, but I don't know, man. But all I know, Jay, is we got to win that Thanksgiving Day game. Do you know that's it, Jay? It is so huge for Daniel Jones. It is so huge for all the players. It's so huge for Kadarius Toney to, clear their name up and just make a statement on national television. I mean, everyone's going to be watching that game that's, at a Thanksgiving dinner or such. I mean, that is a humongous game for Daniel Jones and the Giants. That is the game where Brian Dabo goes out there and solidifies himself as an NFL head coach.
That low-key might be the game, because the Giants don't have many primetime games. I feel like, I'm not sure.
That's our only Thursday night game.
Yeah, and they also got to face the Cowboys on Monday Night Football early on in the season. I don't have them winning that game because the Giants, they rarely win on Monday Night Football. I don't remember the last time they actually did win on Monday Night Football. I think it was the 49ers game.
All I know, Jay, is I wake up the next morning pissed every time.
Yes, waking up, got to go to school.
It's the worst.
You just lost to the whatever team they lost on Monday Night Football. But, yes, that Thanksgiving game is a game where it's kind of like last year with the Raiders and that Cowboys Thanksgiving game.
Think about it. We still think about it to this day.
It's like
they made a statement.
They went out, made a statement. Now Derek Carr, to some people, the top 10 quarterback, and that was one game that helped people think that. And with the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, though, that's a game where the Cowboys, they almost always lose that game. We're looking at them last year versus the Raiders, lost that game. I'm not sure who they faced the year before that. I think it was the Commanders. I'm not sure who won that game. I think the Commanders won that game, because that was a game where Antonio Gibson had 4 touchdowns or something like that. And I think the year before that they had players like Josh Allen on Thanksgiving. They just ran them over. So history says that the Cowboys are going to lose that game. History says it, but that is a game that the Giants have to win. It's a game that it's a morale booster. Beating the Cowboys is always great, but doing it on Thanksgiving would be an even bigger plus. But yeah, I feel like the Cowboys, they're still like, I think they're still like the best team in this division, but they're beatable. They're definitely beatable now. I don't think they're, a juggernaut like they were a couple of years ago. Like you said, Dak Prescott, who he is a top 10 quarterback, but he's not a quarterback that, like, he's not like Aaron Rodgers. He's not Patrick Mahomes, not Lamar Jackson. He's beatable. We can beat him. And, the Eagles with Jalen Hurts, who I don't think is all that. I understand they went out and made a trade for A.J. Brown. I understand you got Devontae Smith. You got Dallas Goedert. They have a great offensive line. What does the weapons mean? And we know this. What does the weapons mean if you don't have a good quarterback? The weapons don't mean anything. We just seen with the Browns. Weapons galore, but they had Baker Mayfield as their quarterback. What were you about to say?
Yeah. I mean, like, you look at them and you're like, that is like the perfect team for an older veteran winning quarterback to just jump into and win a chip. Like, I will say this right now. They are serious contenders if you put any other quarterback on that team. I mean, I'm talking like late playoff run type of serious. I think that Jalen Hurts is holding that franchise back. And you know what's going to happen? They're going to play this year. Salary's going to get a little tight. We don't have a QB. Now we got to make a move. Now we got to sign Devontae Smith, and then the cookie just crumbles. So I think this is the Eagles' year. They got to do it this year. They have to do it this year.
Yeah, and the piggyback off you were saying, if Jalen Hurts doesn't, take that step, they already like acclimated like hella picks in this draft or like past drafts. So they might look to trade up for one of those, top quarterback prospects. But you already have a team built, for like a guy, like you said, like a veteran guy, like a Matt Ryan type of guy to fill in,
Like I think Brady might be able to win a chip there, like straight up.
Yeah, like Brady were to go there, they are Super Bowl contenders, but they have Jalen Hurts there. So I don't understand why some fans are so pessimistic about this season. Like, look at the division we're in. This division always comes down to the wire. You know what I'm saying? This division always, we could be looking at mid-season where the Giants are probably, the division leads by one game or something like that. That's just how this division goes. So this is the AFC West, where it's loaded with the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Raiders, the Broncos. This is the opposite of that. We're talking about the Cowboys, the Commanders, the Jalen Hurts-led Eagles. So for any Giants fan that's pessimistic about the season, look at the division. Look at the division that we're in. Take a step back. Look at the quarterbacks that we got to face. We got to face Carson Wentz twice, Jalen Hurts twice. That's 4 games. And we saw what happened last year in MetLife, the last time Jalen Hurts was in MetLife. We shut him down.
Took him out of the game.
We just shut him down. We had him looking like a deer in the headlights, throwing picks to Xavier McKinney. 2 of them.
Tay Crowder.
Yes. Tay Crowder going up getting an interception. You got Julian Love picking up fumble recoveries. We can beat them. We can beat the Eagles. I know they got.
I think we could sweep the Eagles, Jay.
You think we can sweep them?
Yeah.
Hey, I don't blame you for thinking that because, like, again, Daniel Jones is better than Jalen Hurts. The time that they faced off with each other, DJ outplayed Jalen Hurts. So for all the Eagles fans that are, saying that DJ this, DJ that, look at your own quarterback. Gardner Minshew might be a better QB than Jalen Hurts. If we've been honest.
Absolutely.
Gardner Minshew might be better than Jalen Hurts. And when we look at the Commanders, DJ owns the Commanders. Daniel Jones freaking turns into Super Saiyan when he faces the Commanders.
Hot take, put Daniel Jones in the Eagles playoffs.
Yeah. Give DJ the O-line.
Yeah.
Give DJ the weapons. He takes that team to the playoffs.
Easily. Without a doubt.
He takes it to the playoffs. You're like, it's no doubt. Like,
I'm not even slandering Jalen Hurts. I don't think that's I don't think Jalen Hurts is starting quarterback. I don't. Like, I like him. He's a cool guy. He has confidence. He's always dripped out and stuff. But, like, I don't think he's a starting quarterback. I mean, he was a second-round pick. He wasn't supposed to be the Eagles' next thing, and he kind of just got forced into that role. He played good enough to start, but he's not winning the Eagles a Super Bowl, and for that reason, it's just I'm out on him, man.
Yeah, I just don't think the Eagles are just the roster built around Jalen Hurts is great. Don't get me wrong, it's great, but Jalen Hurts himself is not. I don't think he just doesn't know how to throw the football. He's just not a good quarterback. You look at him from a running standpoint, then yes, he's a playmaker on the ground. He gets things done on the ground. But we already knew about Jalen Hurts. Like when they drafted him, we were looking at them taking a gadget quarterback in the second round, like a Taysom Hill or something like that in the second round. But I want your NFC East predictions, like your standing predictions for this season. Who you think's the first seed? Who you think wins the championship in the NFC East? And who you think's the bottom feeder of the division this year?
I think we're going first. I'm going to go the Eagles. Second, I'm going Dallas. Third, us. And then I think Commanders are going to finish last. But I think we could finish second in the division. I don't think the Cowboys are going to be too serious this year. Who do they really have? That offensive line has declined a lot. It's not what it used to be. It used to be the best offensive line in football. It's not that anymore. Ezekiel Elliott does not scare me anymore like he used to. I mean, it feels like yesterday, Zeke, oh my God, just on those Monday night games, he would just run and run. But I don't think he's like that anymore. CeeDee Lamb's really all they got. Trayvon Diggs doesn't scare me at all.
Kadarius Toney owns him.
Darius Toney makes Trayvon Diggs look silly. But I think it's gonna be Philly, us / Dallas, and then Washington's gonna finish last. I'm not taking Washington too serious this year.
For me, I had the Cowboys first place. I had us being second place. I had the Eagles being third, and I had the Washington Commanders being fourth. I think the way I broke it down in my video a couple of months ago was the Giants are 8-9, or no, the Giants are I think they're 8-8 heading into the last game of the season versus Philly. The Eagles are also 8-8, and the Giants beat them, make to the playoffs in the last game of the season. I would love for that to happen. I'm hoping that happens because that would be so great. It would be revenge for what they did a couple of years ago, them tanking the game. After DJ won the game in MetLife versus Dallas, they go out and tank the game versus Washington on Sunday Night Football. I feel like that'll be a great revenge game, and it would do me justice. It would make me feel very great with the Eagles fans crying and after them losing and not making it to playoffs, actually thinking that they actually had a chance. But before we kind of close this out, I want to talk about DJ for one last time, and I want your stat prediction for DJ. When you think 2020 is all over, what do you think the numbers, or what ballpark of numbers do you think DJ puts up after this season?
Daniel. I'm going to lock 32 touchdowns. I'm going to lock that. I'm going to say 12 picks. I think he's going to – I think maybe even a little higher. But, Jay, are we even mad at that if he's throwing 30-something
No, Brian
touchdowns?
Dabo already came out and said that in this type of offense, you're trying to be aggressive, you're going to throw interceptions. People don't know this, but Josh Allen in the Brian Dabo offense last year threw 15 interceptions. I'm not comparing him to Josh Allen. Don't kill me. I'm not comparing him to Josh Allen, but I'm just saying from an interception standpoint, he's going to throw picks. It's going to happen. But
that's the thing. And I think that by throwing picks, it equals more touchdowns. And if he throws 15 picks and 35 touchdowns, I'm not mad. I mean, I'm not mad at that. But the yards, it's hard to say, because if he is a little lower on yards and he's 35 touchdowns deep, I'm not worried. I don't care about that. But I don't know, yards maybe, a little obviously higher than his rookie season. I'd say he's in the average category with the yards. I don't really know if I'm going to put a number on it because I think it could fluctuate. You know what I mean? It depends on Yak and all that stuff. But I think Daniel Jones is going to ball out, but I'll definitely lock like 32 touchdowns and maybe like 12, 13 picks. What about you, Jay?
I had made a video a couple of days ago, and I said that DJ. I looked at his rookie numbers from when he's a rookie. I looked at his yards per game he put up, and if you were to put that on a 17-game span, he has about 3,900 yards. So I put that in. I said 3,900 yards, close to 4,000, sniffing 4,000 for DJ. I had him at 30 touchdowns. I didn't want to like overdo it and say 35 or anything like that, but I also didn't want to lowball him. So I had him at 30 touchdowns, and I had him at 13 interceptions. I had him at 13 interceptions.
That's fair. We're on the same page with that.
Yeah, we're basically ballparking like near the same numbers for DJ.
Yeah.
But the big question is, do you think the numbers that you predicted for him kind of gives him that second, chance with the Giants? You think it franchise tag him? I know it doesn't really give him like a second contract with the Giants, but do you think that is enough for him to get that second chance with the Giants?
Yeah, I think that's kind of a weird subject with Giants fans right now because some are like, he's got to go out there and win a Super Bowl. That's bullshit. That's BS,
He doesn't, like, come on. Okay, if he helps us, like, if he has those moments, like, if he plays like he did in that.
Jay, he's always gonna have those DJ moments. He's always gonna throw those stupid balls. That's Daniel Jones. You're gonna get that. I'm sorry to say, if you're listening to this and you're thinking he's gonna go out there and be perfect, he's not. He's gonna have those DJ moments. I mean,
but then you also have those games like New Orleans last year where he throws 2-3 touchdowns or
300 yards.
Yeah, 300 yards. He's gonna have those games this year. That's just how DJ is.
Yeah,
and he doesn't have to, like you said, he doesn't have to go out there and win a Super. Like, people make these expectations for DJ for him to get a second contract, something like that, or even a franchise tag and say he has to make it to the playoffs. We have to make it to the playoffs. We gotta go, freaking contend for a Super Bowl with DJ for him to get a second chance with the Giants. That's not true. If DJ goes out there, when the moments are showing up to you, the game's on you, DJ, win us this game, and he doesn't, he has decent numbers, and the Giants aren't looking like a freaking peewee team week in, week out, then he's gonna get at least a franchise tag. And it also depends where the Giants are record-wise, because if the Giants are freaking horrible, then you already know that DJ's not gonna be here. But if they're middle of the pack, you're not gonna get C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young. You're not getting one of those guys in the freaking average part of the draft. You're not getting those guys. So why not run it back with DJ? And I think DJ does get a second, I didn't say a second contract, but he at least gets the franchise tag. I think at least gets the franchise tag because I think he has the great supporting cast, weapons-wise, offensive line, coaching staff, which we still have to see, but I think the coaching staff is good enough for him to strive. But that's really it. What's your final thoughts? Anything you want to say before we close one out?
No, man, just obviously thank you so much for having me on, Jay. You're one of my good friends on Twitter, and Jay's pumping out that content all off season, keeping everyone updated, keeping everyone excited for the season. So definitely shout out to Jay, and always a pleasure, man. Anytime you need anything, I got you.
For sure,
man.
That's
what it is, man.
You always welcome on the channel.
Yes, sir.
Always welcome on the channel. And if you have not yet, go on and follow this man on Twitter, man. He knows his stuff. He's a very, he knows his stuff, man. That's dead it. Go follow him on Twitter at It's Clouds on Twitter, man. He knows his stuff. Great Giants fan right here, man. Knows his stuff. And that's really it. But I just want to say thank you again for coming on, man. I really
of course, Jay, anytime.
Thank you for everybody who showed up, showed out, comment down below in the chat, stuff like that, man. I really do appreciate it. But that's really it. Till then, it's Big Boy Jay Dons and Clouts. We are out.
Peace.
Go Giants.